In this lesson, I'll be talking about photosynthesis and respiration, two processes that are very important for the survival of many organisms. Photosynthesis for plants and respiration for all living things. So energy, all of the energy from the life comes from the sun indirectly or directly. Your energy, my energy, the energy in the grass. If you think about it, okay, plants use the sun's energy directly, all right? Certain animals will eat those plants, and then certain animals will eat those animals, and we eat everything, okay? So all the energy, directly or indirectly, comes from the sun, okay? Plants harvest the sun's energy using photosynthesis, all right? Animals eat those plants and the plant's energy, and other animals eat those plants, just like I said, okay? So the energy is passed on from the sun to plants to animals who eat those plants. Photosynthesis, let's break down this word. Photo refers to a photon, which is a unit of energy from the sun. And synthesis, we know, is to make or build, to create. So if you break down the word, synthesize, to make using the sun's energy. All right, so we are making things using the sun's energy. And remember, this is in plants. All right, so plants will be able to harvest the sun's energy and make food in the form of sugar. And specifically, they'll be making glucose. All right, remember, glucose is an organic molecule. All right, so photosynthesis will take simple inorganic molecules, water and carbon dioxide, who don't have C and H together, and make organic molecules, which is glucose. So photosynthesis occurs inside the chloroplast, and we talked about these are organelles only found in plants, algae, and certain bacteria. And the formula for glucose is really one you should memorize, all right? Carbon dioxide and water combine with light to make glucose and oxygen, all right? So we are going to know that. Plants are going to take carbon dioxide from the air, water from the soil or from the rain, use the sun's energy and light to make glucose and release oxygen, which we will breathe in and then recycle, okay? So just quickly, an important concept in the Regents is to know that plants use inorganic molecules to make organic. So I'm going to take carbon dioxide, which is inorganic because it doesn't have an H. I'm going to take water, inorganic because it doesn't have a C. And I'm going to make glucose, and this is organic, all right? The formula for glucose is C6H12O6, all right? So I'm going to take these inorganic molecules, use the sun's energy, and make an organic molecule in the form of glucose, okay? The food for the plant, okay? Remember, plants can make their own food, all right? A nice way to memorize this formula, write it down 10 times, right in a row, you'll never forget it, okay? When you get to the Regents, write it down right on the exam as soon as you get it. Respiration is taking the energy from food and storing it in molecules of ATP. Now, where we get this food depends on the type of organism we are, all right? So animals will have to ingest their food. They'll have to eat their own food, okay? Whereas plants can make their food. But regardless, respiration happens in all organisms, plants, animals, all right? The energy in the food, whether we eat it or whether we make it ourselves, is then made available for life process, okay? So we make it into ATP, and this arrow can represent respiration. We're going to take food, the energy in it, and make it into a usable form. Remember, ATP is like the currency of the cell. It allows all of the cellular processes to occur. And quickly, you have to know that respiration occurs at the mitochondria, which is found in all living things. Plants, animals, doesn't matter, because respiration happens in all living things. Mitochondria must be present in all living things. So again, we said it occurs in the mitochondria in all living organisms, and the formula for photosynthesis is actually respiration, but backwards. So if you know respiration, you know photosynthesis and vice versa. So respiration, we're going to take glucose and oxygen, and we're going to make carbon dioxide, water, and energy. Only energy will be in the form of ATP, all right? In photosynthesis, we got our energy in the form of sunlight, right? So again, if you take photosynthesis, reverse it, it's this formula. Glucose and oxygen gives us carbon dioxide, which we exhale, and water, which we might sweat out, okay? Plants will reuse and recycle this, and the cycle goes on and on. And important to know that this oxygen molecule right here allows a lot more ATP to be produced, okay? Oxygen makes the mitochondria so much more efficient, all right? Without this oxygen, we can maybe only make 2 ATP per 1 glucose, okay? But with this oxygen, we get extremely efficient. We can make about 32 net ATP for every 1 glucose molecule, all right? So oxygen is essential in keeping our bodies efficient with making energy. ATP molecules, organisms use the energy in these molecules to gather, move, and break down materials, okay? So in these molecules, again, is the energy we need for life functions, all right? So transport, circulation, nutrition, synthesis, all use the energy in ATP which we made using the process of respiration, okay? Waste is also removed using the energy in ATP. So in plants, remember I talked about feedback mechanisms in lessons a few lessons ago. So feedback mechanisms in plants, an important one is guard cells, okay? On the bottom of a leaf, so if I draw a leaf right now, all right, and I take a magnifying glass and look underneath it, it'll look like this, all right? I'm going to find little holes called stomates, all right? So these holes in the middle, these are stomates, or stomata, and the cells next to the stomata are called guard cells. All right? And these guard cells will regulate the size of these openings to let out oxygen and take in carbon dioxide based on their environment, okay? So they're going to regulate gas exchange, letting CO2 in and oxygen out, and also transpiration, water evaporating out of the leaves. And they will open and close based on the environment, okay? So if it's very hot and very dry, you're going to know that those guard cells are going to close, okay? They're not going to want to lose water, okay? Water keeps these plants alive, okay? But if it gets cool and moist, then the guard cells will open, okay? Maybe let out some oxygen, take in some carbohydrate, but it's not going to compromise itself to lose enough water where it can lose or not be able to maintain homeostasis, okay? So these guard cells in plants regulate the size of the stomata so that they can exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide based on appropriate environmental conditions.